Have you ever noticed how we're always racing against time? It's like life is this never-ending sprint where we're constantly chasing faster results, career success, relationship goals, personal growth, you name it. We're drawn to the idea of shortcuts, like if there's a quicker way, why bother taking the long route? But here's the thing. Somewhere deep down, we know it doesn't really work that way. We know that the big stuff, the stuff that really matters, never happens overnight. Still, it's like our minds are wired to crave that instant payoff. Blame it on how we're built. Psychologists call it instant gratification bias. Basically, our brains are hardwired to want immediate rewards rather than long-term gains. Makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint. Survival first, patience later. And yet, here we are, frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we hoped. We want the end result, but we're not always willing to embrace the grind. It's like we forget that the most worthwhile achievements are usually the hardest to get. Maybe it's not really our fault. It's more about unlearning that instinct to seek the easy way out. Think about it. Why do we get sucked into those get-rich-quick schemes or lose-weight-fast challenges? It's not just about being naive. It's about the way our brains are set up. And yeah, sometimes it feels like life is tricking us into wanting the shortcut. But deep down, there's a part of us that knows the real win is in the work, not just the reward. You ever wonder why we're so obsessed with fast results? It's not just about being lazy or impatient. It's actually a brain thing. Neuroscience tells us that our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And in today's world, that means we gravitate toward quick wins. Back in the day, it was about surviving, grabbing food when it was available, finding shelter fast. But now? That same wiring makes us crave instant success, even when we know better. Take social media, for example. We're constantly bombarded with highlight reels. People celebrating promotions, new relationships, or major transformations. It's easy to forget that behind every success story is usually a whole lot of struggle that doesn't make the cut. We see the glow up, not the grind. And that messes with our perception of what it really takes to make progress. And it's not just social media. Think about how we're marketed to. Products that promise quick fixes, programs that guarantee instant results. It's like the whole world is set up to feed our craving for speed. But here's the kicker. Most of it's just hype. We know that deep down, but it doesn't stop us from wanting it. It's a constant battle between our rational mind and our brain's desire for immediate satisfaction. It's wild to think about, but understanding this can actually help. When we realize that our brains naturally lean toward the shortcut, we can start challenging that impulse. It doesn't mean we suddenly love the slow grind, but at least we get why we're wired that way. And sometimes, just knowing why we think the way we do makes the process a little more bearable. Have you ever heard of the marshmallow experiment? Back in the 70s, researchers gave a bunch of kids a choice. Eat one marshmallow right now, or wait 15 minutes and get two. Simple enough, right? The kids who could hold out for that second marshmallow ended up doing better in life. Academically, professionally, even socially. It wasn't just about self-control. It was about being able to see beyond the present moment. Neuroscientists would say it's all about the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles planning and impulse control. The kids who waited had stronger connections in that area, allowing them to think beyond their immediate cravings. It's a skill, really, and not everyone develops it naturally. Some of us still struggle with that urge to grab the marshmallow right now, whether it's a quick purchase, a hasty decision, or giving up on something because it takes too long. But here's the thing. Learning to wait, to be patient, doesn't mean denying yourself happiness. It means investing in something better down the line. It's like planting a seed and not expecting a tree to pop up the next day. You water it, give it sunlight, and let time do its thing. It's frustrating when you're stuck in the waiting phase, but once that seed starts to grow, it just hits different. You realize that good things take time. It's almost ironic, isn't it? In a world where everything's getting faster, Wi-Fi, food delivery, career moves, we're still wired to value the long game. Those kids in the marshmallow test, they remind us that sometimes the hardest thing isn't working hard. It's waiting for the payoff. Ever thought about how philosophers tackled this whole waiting game thing? Nietzsche had this concept called Amor Fati, literally, love of fate. It's not just about accepting your circumstances, but embracing them, even the tough parts. The idea is that struggles aren't just roadblocks, they're essential to the journey. Instead of wishing things were easier, you learn to value the challenge itself. It sounds deep, right? But think about it. If every success came easy, would it really feel that rewarding? Imagine acing a marathon without breaking a sweat. Would it even feel like an achievement? Probably not. Nietzsche wasn't saying you have to enjoy suffering. Instead, he was pointing out that real growth often comes from discomfort. It's about reframing how we see obstacles, not as unfair setbacks, but as necessary parts of becoming stronger. There's also something almost comforting in the idea that hardship is just part of life's design. It's like saying, yeah, this sucks right now, but it's shaping me into someone who can handle more. It's not toxic positivity, it's just being real about how life works. The process might not always make sense while you're in it, but looking back, it usually clicks. The struggle becomes a story, and the story becomes proof that you didn't just survive, you evolved. And it's not just Nietzsche. Even modern thinkers echo this. There's a saying, embrace the suck. It's blunt, but it hits the point. Sometimes life is just tough, and pretending it's not doesn't help. Instead, leaning into the challenge, acknowledging that it's rough but sticking with it anyway, builds resilience. It's about learning to sit with discomfort instead of always trying to escape it. It's kind of messed up how society paints success sometimes. Everywhere you look, social media, movies, motivational speeches, it's always about the end result. The shiny car, the fit body, the big promotion. Rarely do we see the sleepless nights, the failures, the doubts. It's like the world is obsessed with the highlight reel, conveniently skipping over the parts that actually matter. The process. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a viral post about someone grinding for years before they made it big? Nah, it's always the overnight success stories, as if they just woke up one day at the top. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find that most of those stories are anything but overnight. They're made of years of hustle, setbacks, and quiet moments of wanting to quit, but not giving up. It's no wonder we feel pressured to speed things up. When everyone else looks like they're winning, it's easy to think we're falling behind. Social comparison kicks in, something psychologists have studied for decades. We measure our progress against others without really knowing their full story. It's like judging a movie by watching the final scene without any context. Of course, it's misleading. And it's not just social media. Our whole culture kind of feeds into it. There's this hustle mentality where working harder and faster is glorified, but no one talks about burnout or how some things just take time. It's a warped perception. We end up thinking that if we're not succeeding quickly, we're failing. But real success, it's more like a marathon than a sprint. You pace yourself, push through the rough patches, and keep moving, even when it's slow. You know what's fascinating? Our brains actually reward us for making progress, no matter how small. Neuroscience shows that every time we hit a tiny milestone, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It's why checking something off a to-do list feels so satisfying. It's not just about achieving big goals, it's about those little wins along the way. This is why breaking down huge tasks into bite-sized pieces works so well. Instead of overwhelming your brain with one massive goal, you're essentially tricking it into staying motivated by stacking small victories. It's like running a marathon, but focusing on reaching the next mile marker rather than the finish line. You keep moving because your brain stays hooked on that little rush of progress. But here's where it gets tricky. Our brains are also wired to seek novelty. That's why we often abandon long-term goals when they start feeling repetitive or boring. We crave something new, something that doesn't feel like grinding. The key is to keep finding ways to make progress feel fresh. Whether it's switching up your routine, rewarding yourself differently, or just acknowledging small improvements, it keeps your brain engaged. So, maybe the problem isn't that we're lazy or unmotivated, it's that we're not giving our brains enough of those dopamine hits along the way. The process doesn't have to be all grit and no reward. Sometimes it's about recognizing the small stuff, like celebrating when you complete just one chapter of that book you're writing, or when you finally nail that workout you've been struggling with. Those tiny wins matter. They're the fuel that keeps you going. One thing we often overlook is how powerful it is to share our struggles. Think about it. When you hear someone open up about their setbacks, doesn't it feel oddly comforting? Like, oh, I'm not the only one going through this. That's human connection at its core. Social psychologists call it collective resilience. The idea that knowing others are also pushing through tough times makes our own struggles feel more bearable. It's why support groups work. Whether it's recovering from addiction, dealing with grief, or just managing everyday stress, being around people who get it can be a game changer. There's a sense of validation in hearing, "Yeah, me too." It's not just about advice or solutions. It's about knowing you're not alone in the fight. And weirdly, that sense of solidarity makes the process feel a little less heavy. That's why sharing your own story isn't just for you. It's for others who might be in the same boat. Vulnerability builds bridges. You don't have to have it all figured out to share where you're at. Sometimes just admitting, "Hey, this is hard," can resonate way more than pretending everything's perfect. It's real. It's raw. And it reminds people that struggling doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Plus, there's something almost freeing about being honest with yourself and others. It takes away that pressure to look flawless all the time. Instead, it says, "Yeah, I'm working on it, and that's enough." It's a mindset shift, from hiding your challenges to embracing them as part of your story. Because at the end of the day, the process is a shared experience. No one's got it all together, and that's okay. So, here's the thing. No matter how much we chase shortcuts, at some point, we all come to terms with one simple truth. The process is non-negotiable. It's like life keeps giving us the same lesson until we finally get it. Maybe it's through failed projects, relationships that didn't work out, or dreams that took way longer than expected. Eventually, we realize that growth isn't something you can hack. We start to see that the journey itself shapes us more than the destination ever could. It's not just about achieving the goal. It's about who you become while pursuing it. You gain resilience, patience, and a kind of quiet confidence that only comes from pushing through the messy parts. Funny how that works, right? The process doesn't just build success, it builds character. And honestly, when you look back, it's rarely the trophy that sticks in your memory. It's the late nights, the self-doubt, the tiny wins that kept you going. Those moments are the real story. Success becomes more than just a point on the map. It's the entire route you took to get there. And somehow, that makes the victory feel way more earned. At the end of the day, believing in the process isn't just some cliché. It's a mindset. It's about embracing the fact that progress doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it's messy, slow, and frustrating. But eventually, we all learn to appreciate it. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. And when you finally arrive, you realize it wasn't just about reaching the finish line. It was about becoming someone who never stopped moving forward.